My own path to transportation didn't start with buses or business. It started in the Army. I spent over 20 years as an Army officer. During that time, I had one of those moments that changes how you see the world. Watching our convoys in Iraq burn thousands of gallons of fuel every day just to move supplies. And every gallon of fuel meant another convoy, another risk, another life on the line. That experience hit me hard, and it pushed me to start thinking differently about mobility. How could we move people and goods more efficiently, more safely, and with less cost, both in dollars and in lives? That thinking stayed with me after I retired. When I left the Army, I didn't want to just get a job. I wanted to work on problems that mattered, and that's what led to the founding of Ride Scout. Ride Scout was a mobility app, kind of like a kayak for ground transportation. It helped people see all their options: buses, trains, ride share, car share, even bike share, all in one place in real time. We were early, we were scrappy, and we were disruptive. We grew fast enough that Daimler, the parent company of Mercedes-Benz, acquired Ride Scout. And that put me right in the middle of how technology was changing transportation at every level. But disruption isn't just about startups, it's about mindset. And that's what led to my book, Catalyst: Leadership and Strategy in a Changing World, which I co-authored with my friend Brett Boyd. Brett and I had both seen, from the Army to the private sector, that change wasn't slowing down. In fact, it was speeding up. So we asked a simple question: why do some leaders thrive in times of change while others freeze up or fall behind? That question became our book, and it's shaped much of the work I've done since, from mobility and defense innovation to workforce development and policy. So before we talk about AI and what's next, let's pause and talk about the thing that makes it all possible, and sometimes also difficult: change. Change is something every one of us thinks we understand until it happens to us. We like to think of change as an event, something that happens, we react, and then we go back to normal. But in Catalyst, we argue that change isn't an event, it's an environment. It's the air we breathe. In the old world, strategy was about prediction: forecast the future, plan your route, and execute the plan. But in the modern world, strategy is about adaptation. The environment is shifting so fast, geopolitically, technologically, economically, that the best leaders are those who can learn and adjust faster than the pace of change around them. We break this down in the book into a few key ideas: the speed of change. Information, innovation, and expectations now move exponentially, not linearly. That's why something that feels small, like a new software update, can ripple through entire industries overnight. The human factor. Technology doesn't change organizations. People do. And people don't resist change because they're stubborn. They resist it because it creates uncertainty. As leaders, our job is to give people confidence that they can adapt and still succeed. Catalysts versus protectors. In every organization, you've got both. Protectors want to maintain stability. Catalysts want to experiment and push boundaries. The best leaders create balance: stability where it matters, experimentation where it's safe to fail. The opportunity lens: every disruption hides an opportunity. The question is not, will this change happen, but how do we position ourselves to benefit from it? So as you think about the transportation industry and the American Bus Association in particular, I want you to think of yourselves as change agents, not just operators, because mobility is never static. It's about connecting people and places in new ways, over and over again. That brings us to perhaps the biggest disruptor of our time, the one that's already rewriting what we mean by mobility, service, and experience. Let's talk about artificial intelligence. AI has been the headline disruptor for the last 2 years, and for good reason. But I want to take it out of the hype cycle for a minute and think about what it really means for industries like yours. At its core, AI is about pattern recognition and personalization. It learns from data, lots of it, and uses that data to make predictions, suggestions, and decisions faster than we can. So how does that connect to the world of buses, motor coaches, and group travel? Let's start with the customer experience. Imagine a tour bus heading down Broadway in New York City. On that same bus, there's a family of 5. A mom who loves architecture, a dad who's obsessed with sports, a teenager who's into theater, a younger child fascinated by history, and a grandparent who loves politics. Traditionally, that tour guide on the mic has to pick one story for everyone. Maybe it's the story of Times Square, maybe it's the story of Hamilton or the Yankees. But what if using AI, natural language processing, and augmented reality, each person could experience a different story while still traveling the same route? That's not science fiction, that's personalization powered by AI, a way to make group travel deeply individual. You could have screens on seat backs or personal audio linked to individual profiles, tailored narration that adapts to age, interest, and even language, real-time adjustments based on weather, time of day, or crowd conditions, data analytics that tell operators what types of content resonate most, helping improve tours, marketing, and customer satisfaction. That's just the front end. On the operations side, AI can optimize routes in real time, forecast demand based on seasonality or events, and even predict mechanical issues before they happen. Think predictive maintenance, dynamic scheduling, smarter fuel management, and safer driving, all driven by algorithms learning from millions of data points. For fleet managers, that's not just efficiency, that's resilience. For drivers, that's safety. For passengers, that's trust. And the ripple effect goes beyond buses. AI will reshape the entire mobility ecosystem, how we book trips, how we share rides, how we blend different modes of transport into seamless experiences. It's not about replacing people, it's about enhancing what people do best, connecting, storytelling, and creating memorable experiences. But here's the catch. Adopting AI requires the same mindset we talked about earlier. You can't just plug it in, you have to lead through it. That means training your teams not to fear automation, but to leverage it. Building data partnerships that protect privacy while improving service. Staying curious, asking, how can this tool help us serve people better? Because at the end of the day, AI won't replace companies, but companies that use AI will replace those that don't. And to bring it home, everything you've just heard could be created, rehearsed, and shared in minutes using a next-generation communication platform called Revised.io. For an industry built on connection and experience, imagine what this could mean for you. Tour operators, fleet managers, and marketing teams creating personalized training, customer communication, or safety briefings at scale. Seamless, multilingual, and delivered in your own voice. This isn't about replacing people, it's about amplifying them. Because in transportation, connection is everything. 这是沟通的未来. Este es el futuro de la comunicación. This is the future of communication.